We are rocking and rolling. I've got some bulk substrate. I've got a bag of colonized ryegrain berries, so we'll do a little transfer. Oyster mushrooms are popping out. I'm going to take a look into the incubation chamber and see if we have anything we can move into the tent. I've adjusted the CO2 exhaust fan. I got a new scale. That might be a little overkill. The humidity is holding its own. I've still got some weird lion's mane mushrooms going on, but I thought this was going to be the last roundabout with the funky mushrooms, but this will probably hopefully be the last rendition. So I think once you kind of get off kilter, then the new growth kind of grows on top of the old growth, and then now you're fighting against time. So, but yeah, I'll turn the laminar flow hood on. We'll move the grains to bulk substrate, and then we'll go from there. So, not much else to report. I do have let's see, I harvested. Yeah, they're drying out. Okay, I'll leave those be. Move these to the refrigerator. So let me see here. I've got bulk substrate that I will be moving ryegrain berries to. I can bring out some of my blue oyster mushrooms. I'm pretty proud. This will be the first blue oyster mushroom fruit of the tent. I'm gonna really try to keep the zipper up here so I don't lose massive amounts of humidity. So this is, these are coming out pretty nice. So this is blue oyster mushroom. I am thrilled, right? Now I've grown it before where it can get dry. This is quite a few. I mean, look at that one. That one's got maybe 100 pins. So I'm imagining that a lot of these will abort themselves. And so the goal will be to, and I'll bring this guy out later again, but so humidity's doing well. I think I won't have that issue. Tent smells fresh. I'm doing 3 30-minute exhaust runs in a 24-hour period. So every 8 hours for 30 minutes, the exhaust will run it out. So what I'll be doing here is I've got a bag of, so I'm really running with the blue oyster right now. So this is a colonized bag of ryegrain berries. This is blue oyster mushroom right here. It's been a bit, so this is ready to go. And I'm going to move this and momentarily to bulk substrate. Yes, thank you. So I cooked the master's mix substrate last night, 15 psi, 90 minutes. Let me make sure my thing's on. All right. 15 psi, 90 minutes. I got 6 bags of master's mix substrate. And I'll be moving this lovely bag of colonized rye grain berries into that, which will then go into the incubation chamber, roughly 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. And then it'll go into the tent and it'll create those oyster mushrooms that you just saw. So, lovely. Well, no time like the present. Let me drink some coffee. Let me prepare my area. So the farm is doing pretty well. I painted a wall for aesthetic and for vibe sake. Cleanliness is doing pretty well. Tent's doing well. I'm considering a 10 by 10 tent, which would go pretty much where I'm at right now and kind of be right in the middle. And then I can repurpose my, and that would be a substantial upgrade. And then, yeah, I would just reorganize around that. So, because I'm ready to scale. I think I've got the process down, and I'm just ready to extrapolate out. And if I can, I think over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'll really hone in if I've got the ecosystem down for the mushroom tent. Let me get those bags. Sometimes I need the mallet to open up the pressure steam sterilizer here. It can kind of seal itself. I let it cool overnight. All right, let's just move this little lid here. Excellent. I believe I cleaned this area. Let me turn on the fan. I think maybe I'll do 3 at a time here. So this is master's mix substrate, perfect for oyster mushrooms. The only thing with oyster mushrooms is that is the bag that I showed you here. I'll bring it out again if there's anybody new. Oh, I think the exhaust fan's running because maybe I just opened the tent too much here. I'll bring this guy out, give it a look-see. All right, humidity's running, but it did drop down to 70, so that's a little weird. So this is what we're working with right here. This is blue oyster mushrooms coming out in style. Look at that, very pleased. They got a nice rich color. Tons of them. I'm imagining a lot of them will potentially abort themselves. So this is the rye grain berries colonized, which will go into the master's mix bags, into the incubation chamber. From there, it'll go into the fruiting tent, and then voila. So these are an edible culinary delight, right? This is kind of a standard quality mushroom all around. Ooh, let me show you the Reishi since we're here, and I want to close the tent up for a little bit after this. So this is my Reishi mushroom. I'm going to make tinctures out of this. Okay, look at that. I am stoked. It's kind of hugging the sides. So what's that? That's telling me that maybe I might have some humidity issues, and it's really holding the edge there. Boy, I don't like that color right there, but I'm not afraid of the golden. But yeah, I hope that's not a, hope I'm not dealing with a contamination. That would be a bummer. Let's see, let me pull out another one. All right, I'll have to do a little bit of research because that is just a little bit of odd color in there. But like that's more Reishi. Okay, so the goal with the Reishi is I grow it, I'll make tinctures. Plus I'm kind of hoping for pretty photogenic mushroom. Here, I'll bring out the blue oyster mushrooms just one more time. I think I got some new people. So this is what we're doing today. Or this is the end. This is the beginning of the end, right? So that's blue oyster mushroom coming out of master's mix bags. Oh no, don't do that. All right. Let's just put you on timeout. Okay. Da 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 da. So lion's mane mushroom, blue oyster mushroom, and reishi. That's kind of that's where I'm at with things. Okay. So, all right, we're going no mask. I'll be all right. Gonna sterilize here. Get the scissors out. So I will break this up first. See what we're working with. One thing I've learned growing mushrooms is that rye grain berries can go a pretty long way. I've been really loading them up, but I think a 5-pound bag of rye grain berries, maybe you could really make maybe 20 bags. All right, so don't go 2 bananas there. Yeah, that's looking well colonized. Yada yada. And then I will snip that. I got my laminar flow hood going. Clean hands. So, all right, master's mix substrate. It was in the pressure steam sterilizer last night for 90 minutes. I might have even overshot that. 15 psi. So, pretty basic stuff here. I'm just going to move the colonized rye grain berries, although I have screwed up basic stuff before. No, and I'm at the farm's doing well. I feel like I've got the system. Oh, look at that chunk. So I need this to go to 6 bags. And what I've been doing is I've been using way more grain than is necessary. A 5-pound bag of grain. Oh, hey, what's up, man? I'm live streaming, so, okay. I've been using way more grain than I need. We'll get that going, a nice click. A clean seal. So, lovely. I'll mix this up later. And then, as I said, this will go into the incubation chamber. 2 weeks there, into the fruiting tent, and then voila, you got the fruiting bag that I showed you just moments ago. So, we'll continue on. So I buy the master's mix in pellet form, and then I rehydrate it before sterilization. Well, you got the Congo, you got South Africa, Somalia. All right. Kenya. What was the incubation chamber? Yeah, no, this is exciting stuff. I think I've been planning this for years. This is a mushroom farm in my garage in Sitka, Alaska. So this is mission critical. Right, so I have the impulse heat sealer at about 5.5, and you get a nice, I might be a little bit on the hot side. You don't want to get it too hot. You're going to sear it right off. Yes. So this is blue oyster mushrooms. I'll show you here. If you're new, if you're just coming in, I'll show you what I got. I am pushing the tent here a little bit, but free air exchange. So this is blue oyster mushrooms. This is what we're coming down to, right? Lovely, doing well. So I've got colonized rye grain berries with this strain. It will then go into the master's mix substrate. So colonized rye grain berries combined with the master's mix substrate, incubation chamber, tent, fruit. I'm abiding by all state and federal laws. So, but, yeah, we're kicking butt. I think the, boy, I don't know if I have very many like favorite mushroom recipes. I mean, I'll just eat the lion's mane. I'll air fry it. I'll pan fry it. There we go. All right, I got 6 of these to go. And so, like I said, I think one of my biggest learning lessons is I use way more rye grain berries than are necessary. I can do it a lot less. Fairly low contamination rate. Although I was looking at those reishi mushrooms and there's this slight discoloration. That's my first reishi attempt though. So I'll take a look and see if I'm overreacting. Oh, let me get the other bags. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so I pretty much got the workflow dialed down. I could probably save some money buying in bulk. All right, just don't come into the picture, all right? I'm serious. It's like a legal thing. Okay. All right, here we go. So, we're gonna move this here. Knock this out. So humidity-wise, I try to keep it around in the low 90s. When the let's see, when the exhaust fan comes on, because this is what happened. The tent started having a little bit of a funk to it, and then I thought, well, I need to clean it. So I got peroxide. There we go. So I got some peroxide, cleaned it, but the funk came back. So I thought, well, what's going on? And then the lion's mane was having a fit. So the lion's mane started growing strange. And then I thought, well, was the humidity too high? But ultimately, long story short, I was not exhausting enough carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide and the humidity was dropping to the bottom of the tent. My emergency exhaust was going out the top. I attached a small fan to the bottom. Unfortunately, it getting carbon dioxide out, it was also dropping the humidity levels substantially. So it's been a balancing act. So basically where I'm settled in at is 30 minutes, 3 times a day, So every 8 hours for 30 minutes, the exhaust turns on, vacates the CO2, and I think I've dialed it in to where I can keep the humidity high enough and the CO2 low enough to where the mushrooms are pretty happy. So I think the oyster mushrooms are going to be a lot more forgiving than the lion's mane. But I've had such good lion's mane runs that, and that's kind of a fan favorite. Boy, this table's getting a little messy. Let me wipe it out. So the live feed was kind of funny. I was like talking to myself for about 5-6 minutes. I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be, this is it. How long can I talk to myself before? All right. I'm going to just throw the trash there. Excellent. Thanks for stopping by. So, it's my roommate's kid. So, bugging me. Anywho, the garage has really turned into quite the inner sanctum for me. Yeah, he's just a kid, otherwise that's why I don't want to have him in the photo. The roommate's kid, child. I guess he is my roommate. So, good guy, good kid. Excellent. So, essentially I'm going to be mixing these, right? And let me pull out some of my other experiments we got going on here. So this is a madhouse. I don't even know what I was doing here. Okay, so this is colonized rye grain berries. This is where we started. I'm trying to find, let's see. Ah, here we go. All right, so this is not doing what I want it to do. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. All right, so I'm gonna move this to the tent. This is kind of an error as well. So essentially when this gets mixed, and then the bag of substrate will get colonized. Okay, so what's happening here? Sometimes I have an issue. It doesn't colonize the bottom. It'll take over the top. And then if you look at here, it's ready to go. It's working its way towards the filter patch, and it's actually finding humidity within the bag. So I'm just gonna have to move forward, screw the bottom, and this thing needs to move to the tent. So we're gonna keep this guy out. That needs to move to the tent. That'll make some space in the tank, in the incubation chamber. Well, and that's why lion's mane is so popular, is because everyone has this kind of neuroplasticity vibe going on, and that's what they're looking for. I'm excited about making reishi tinctures. You know what I mean? Unless I just discovered some contamination in there, which would be a bummer, but it happens. But yeah, the reishi tinctures also have substantial health benefits that we're going for here. Some sort of conglomeration of all of them. I'd like to make coffee at some point, like throw them into the coffee. I'm doing, let's see here. So I'm trying an experiment. If you ever grown mushrooms at home, okay. So no, if you're growing mushrooms from home, jars, cakes are pretty good. So this is actually reishi. I used liquid cultures, and this is a custom cake. I was doing brown rice flour cakes for a while, which did not work with Reishi. But this actually has alder, master's mix substrate, and a little bit of vermiculite. And so I'm hoping you can definitely see some colonization going on in there. And hopefully this do this. And then I'm going to try to fruit it out of a shotgun terrarium. So that is the goal. Da, da, da. And so yeah, the humidity dropped a little bit lower. I got a DIY humidifier here, right? So this is, I got an IP68 computer fan. I've got a, ultrasonic humidifier in the base here. And then it just shoots it up the tube here. I'd like to get something a little bit more so that I'm able to just rain humidity down as needed. So this is a laminar flow hood right here. You can make these yourself. So, you're letting the dog in? All right. Oh. All right. All right, get him out of here. All right. Okay, so, and then, yeah. No, it's coming along. The garage is looking pretty good, looking pretty clean, pretty organized. I think, again, I've got the process down, so I can scale from here, and that sounds good to me. So slants, I'd like to get into slants, which would be, right now I'm working off of Petri dishes. So the Petri dish goes to rye grain berries. The rye grain berries goes to master's mix, intermittently going to the incubation chamber. And then once colonized, I create some slits in the bag and I throw it in the fruiting chamber. The humidity level is kept somewhere between 86.5 and 94, ideally, except for when I do carbon dioxide exhausting, right? And this is the balancing game, right? So then, which turns on for 30 minutes every 8 hours. So 3 times in a 24-hour cycle. And that's where we're at as of the last week. And I'm amazed at how much time I spend out here. But this is, so I'll just kind of mix this guy together. I try to be as gentle as possible. But again, I'm having issues with it colonizing the top of the bag faster than the bottom. I'm the only mushroom game in town, so legal. And in Alaska, after COVID, they were afraid that they would stop sending us food. There was a period of time where we thought, oh, they're going to stop sending us food. So the governor has signed House Bill 251, which basically for a specialty crop like like mushrooms, all regulation has been stripped away. There's really no inspections aren't necessary. Yeah, it's a free game. I don't think people even realize that that it's just streamlined. So I can essentially, if I grow mushrooms, I can go straight to a restaurant and sell it to them. I'd have to buy online insurance for 25 bucks, and then basically just do pay taxes. But other than that, it's ready to rock. Now, if I do tinctures, or if I start messing with it in any way, then we gotta talk all sorts of other stuff. So people that do if they handle seafood, it's not quite as It's not quite as Wild West, but yeah, but I'm having fun, and I think you know, really all I need is rye grain berries, master's mix substrate, bags. You don't want to run out of bags. This is not poop. It does have a lot of nitrogen. You could probably grow these mushrooms out of poop. My compost is doing fantastic. No, I've never grown an enigma. I don't even know. I thought that was like a descriptor. So, oh, the compost is blowing up. It's crazy. I'll open the compost. I mean, it's just like at one point I was struggling and I was getting some contamination. Mushrooms were hurting. I go out and open the compost. It's doing better than I am. So it's like, you know, there's all this focus on sterility, and then the trash can or the compost bin is more successful. It's like, well, what do we? I inoculated the stump outside. Yeah, a lot of conspiracy theories floating around these days. I don't know. I got on an alien kick for a little while. Really put some hours into research. I was like, well, I'm going to figure this out. I'm not a big flying saucer guy, and let me tell you why. So it was Mount Rainier in Washington. They recorded objects in the sky. Okay, a reporter goes, and the testimony was oddly shaped, like they had all these strange shapes, geometrical shapes. He didn't like that for his article, and so he then changed it to flying saucer. So the original flying saucer was a fabrication by a journalist, and that's documented. And then fast forward 30 years, then people start seeing flying saucers. So it would make the original liar would have had to guess correctly. Now, I'm not against aliens, but the flying saucer is, in my opinion, I think that's bunk. And the Epstein thing, I mean, this is just so strange. That's what BS gets you, just more BS. And then before you know it, we're just drowning in lies. And everyone's like, how did we get here? It's like, well, just a whole lot of nonsense. And then we live in a time in history, like, look at this. We're just kind of like massively, we're all just like live streaming our lives. So I'm hoping to, you know, maybe get into the food co-op by September. And I think that's maybe for like a trial run. You know what I mean? See if we can work it out. I mean, I've never had to write anybody an invoice before. I mean, once you're in it, you can't get out. It's like, I have mushrooms growing at every stage. Because if you stop, then you have this like glut period. I wonder if I have any coffee left. You'll have a glut, and then you're screwed. It's like when I ran out of bags. I mean, I was cooked, and I was all committed to like doing shorts and these little short videos, and I completely it derailed me. And then I live in Alaska. And so then all of a sudden I'll get these notifications. It's like, well, it's at customs. And it's just like, oh. I would have said lion's mane was my favorite strain. I'm having some issues now. I mean, the blue oyster mushrooms, that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. They're gonna come cascading out. They're pretty durable. They're beautiful. They have that classic mushroom aesthetic with kind of a gourmet vibe to them. They're a little bit more versatile. The Reishi is looking pretty cool. The Reishi was looking pretty cool, so that'll be fun. All right, I got some more people in here. Let me bring out some mushrooms. Let me show you what I got. All right, good. We're barely holding our own with humidity since I keep opening this thing up all the time, but we'll call that carbon dioxide endurance. This is the blue oyster mushroom right here. All right? Look at that, huh? Look at that. Beautiful. Really stoked. So I've got multiple bags. This is the only one that's popping off right now. Here's the Reishi I got going on. You can kind of see it's hanging out in the corner. This is what I want to turn into a tincture. So this one feels really dense. Reishi mycelium is pretty wild. So if you could feel it, I mean, it's like a rock. It usually gets pretty hard, but nothing like Reishi. And if you ever see Reishi growing on like a petri dish, you want to go back to the alien conversation. It's like very flat and very organized versus something like blue oyster mushroom, which gets kind of puffy and chaotic. The Reishi it looks like it's got a mind of its own. Yeah, somebody accused me of being infected, I think a couple days ago. So, cordyceps, I've seen people growing them. I don't know, out of jars. So if I can find them, I'd like to grow cordyceps. I think that'd be fun. You know, and there's all sorts of mushrooms out there, but I gotta dial back a little bit. 3's enough right now, 3 varieties. And then, like I said, I've got a 3 by 4 foot tent. I think it's about 5-6 feet tall. I've only got 1 rack in there. So I'm shopping for a 10 by 10 feet. So 100 square feet. And I put it in the middle of the garage. And now that would be intense. In September, I'm going down south. A buddy of mine convinced me to go down south with him. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta pay for the ticket, right? And so now I thought, well, what else? How can I make this worthwhile? So I looked up mushroom farms in the area, and I just shot him an email, and I was like, hey, like, can I come and like film a tour of your mushroom farm? And they're totally down. They were totally down. So I'm kind of excited about that. So I'll be in like a legitimate mushroom farm. I'm gonna make like a video of my tour, and then so I'll learn. I'll have some content, and then hopefully I'll just And I thought, well, this would be just great. Anytime I leave the state, I'll just call up or email, because mushroom farms are everywhere, any mushroom in the area, and I'll just do a tour of their facility and make it worthwhile. So, no, life's doing pretty well. This is not, I don't make any money from this yet. I have a full-time job. Weather turned on us. It was really sunny 4th of July. So Sitka is a temperate rainforest, actually. So I live in a rainforest in Alaska. So when it's sunny, it's nice. But then it's hard for me to come sit in my garage. But I got to do it. Got to get it done. And it's just the process of it all, you know what I mean? So like if I want to get rye grain berries going, I got to soak them the night before. Okay, so I got to get the soak going. And then the next night, I can't let it soak for 2 nights. Oh, there's tons. Oh, there's tons. Mushroom people come to Sitka, Alaska. You could argue, I don't know, I'm not like an expert forager by any means of the stretch. I'm not even an expert indoor guy to research mushrooms. I went to a lecture, and the guy was from Oregon, and he was just like, I have never been anywhere. He walked around for 3 days, and I think he said he found 500 different species of mushrooms. Like he was just, and I forgot what he estimated there was. I think he was saying, I thought he said maybe like 3,000 different varieties. We've got like 300 different types of moss. So it's not too surprising. He found a mushroom that was eating dead fish on the beach. I don't know what boofin is. So I've got lion's mane in there. I had a couple of successful ones. I'd show you, but the only ones I got in there are kind of recovering from a CO2 issue I had. And then Reishi, which I want to do for tinctures. And then, well, what I'm working with right now is oyster mushrooms. Yeah. Oh, this is mushroom. This is mushroom planet up here for sure. So I am the only indoor mushroom cultivator in the city of Sitka, Alaska. As of today, I'm planning on kind of wedging in. I think I got it. I think I'm going to corner the market. Oh, I have had contamination issues. I had contamination issues when I did the bucket. My biggest problem was free air exchange in the tent, balanced with humidity levels. I also have, I would say more than contamination, mine was balancing free air exchange with the humidity levels. I've got a humidity controller, right? So the ultrasonic humidifier turns on with the DIY humidifier here. This used to be Old Blue. I'll show you Old Blue, rest in peace. He's, so this is the original, you know? This was, oh my goodness. So this is my old school humidifier. I built this during COVID in a totally different place and with the anticipation of doing something like this. But he passed away, so I'm gonna find something to do with him. But yeah, he has, or we'll call him retired. we'll call him retired. He may come out of retirement after like a major remodel. So, but I've ordered, you know, you almost kind of double up on stuff. So, I mean, if this fan gives out, I'm hosed. You know, I've just never, you know, if you keep yourself clean, I've got the laminar flow hood going, which I can probably turn off actually, to save it. You can make homemade laminar flow hoods. But yeah, if you kind of keep your area clean, the pressure steam sterilizer, you know, 15 PSI, 90 minutes. It's always tempting to cut that short, especially if you're up at like 1 in the morning and you gotta go to bed and you're like, why am I doing this? I don't make any money and it's not even working right now. Ooh, a little fumage. But yeah, a lot of those nights, you know. I've only recently started eating lion's mane. I've really enjoyed it. The texture is, it's got kind of a rubbery, but not like in a bad way. It kind of has a little bit of a springy taste to it. Well, what am I doing here? Let me show you. I'll show you my mushroom. Live feeds are so interesting because it's like I can't tell how long people stay and then when new people come in. So this blue oyster mushrooms right here, right? Look at that, popping. These just showed like 2 days ago. So in 2 days, these are going to be hopefully rocking and rolling. So stay tuned. So I recently got 800 subscribers. I was just tickled. So this is, but yeah, I've been working really hard in the, organizing the garage. I'm out here all the time cleaning. You know, I'm getting to that age where I don't really have, I work and then I come home and I go to the garage. You know, that's about it, right? So I play softball, men's amateur slow pitch. I enjoy golfing when I can. We don't really, it's kind of a sea view mountain golf course. It's kind of like a large miniature golf course. So, and then let's see what we can do with this guy. Well, I'll leave him right there. I'll fix him later. Yes. Okay, so what have I done? What have I done? I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so these, so I've moved the colonized rye grain berries into the master's mix bulk substrate. I will be putting these in the incubation chamber, which are totes similar to, yeah, the truffle thing. Yeah. The truffle thing is pretty interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that would be interesting. So the incubation chambers are similar to, it's the exact same type of tote there. It's actually a tote in a tote with a water heater in it. So it's gets it up to about 78, 80 degrees. And then I just fill these bags up. Oh, one thing to remember, always date and label everything. It's a big, growing mushrooms, it's just this giant workflow, right? And then you got it at every stage. And then I've actually had to go back in time and look at like YouTube shorts of what I was doing to figure out what was there. But sometimes I'll grab a bag, it doesn't have a date, it doesn't have a species on it. I have no idea what's going on. What is the date? It's the 12th. Yeah, no, I feel I'm kicking butt here. You know what I mean? Like I said, this has been years. This has been years. Conceptually, this has been years. I've gotten into the garage as of February. So it's been 4 or 5 months. I mean, I've had to clean a lot. I painted, you know. I've had to set up racks, shelving. buy some stuff all while trying to do this. Let's see, all right, so 712, and then I just put a B up here. That is blue oyster mushroom. Oopsie. Yeah, so lots of losses, some wins. It's moving in the right direction. There's always just the small stuff, you know what I mean? Even like gypsum. Like I was putting too much gypsum into the rye grain soaks. It was making them acidic. I was just eyeballing the stuff. I was just kind of like shaking some powder in there, and then I thought, so I had to double back, and I had to basically be like, oh, no, I need to be exacto with the gypsum. But yeah, labeling, dating everything. I'm gonna buy one of those, they advertise me those big ass calendars or whatever. That way, yeah, just workflow. I mean, you know, you got kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, maybe like 5 or 6 major stages. And then if I want to start selling to the food co-op, I kind of need them active in all spots. So we're mostly run by tourism here in Sitka, Alaska. So, you know, I want to do food co-op kind of through the winter. I kind of want to hone my craft. I go golfing with my dad in early April, but essentially after that, I kind of want to make the push and really start making sales, hopefully to like restaurants and stuff during summer of 2026. Oh no, I can't. Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, so that's that. I think, but like I said, you know, little projects like this all the time, and appreciate everybody's support. I might go get lunch and call it what it is. So thanks again. I did recently hit 800 subscribers, and that is just delightful. It's all been I've been meeting a lot of good people, a lot of good mushroom farmers out there. If any of you guys are listening, I really appreciate all your advice, all your comments. And yeah, probably. So, and I will not poop in a bag, but that would be. We could do, well, anyways, let's leave it at that. So, be well, stay out of trouble. I'll catch you next time. La-di-da. Okay, let's see here. Where's the thing? Yeah, great to have you. All right. Blue oyster mushroom so far.